Welcome to Raptors Night Cap. Randy Urban joined by Paul Jones, Jack Armstrong, Leo Rautins. Fellas, that's a heartbreaker.
That one hurts. I felt they were the better team for probably 3.5 quarters, but you got to finish it. And we were talking off mic, all of us. That's another loss of a game that's a 3-point game or less with a minute to go. Raptors were 17-6 last year in those games, number one winning percentage in the NBA, and they haven't come up with one. And they've had some good looks. Pascal, the last couple nights, he had good looks on both nights. Look, I think Nick would do it again. Put the ball in the hands of one of his best players and go to work. I thought he was more patient tonight, trying to get that look. Thought he could have had a call with the way Covington got his left arm, but bottom line is they made some mistakes coming down the stretch, and that cost him.
Yeah, Leo, he took the contact on that play. You can't really ask for anything more from Pascal. You have to be happy with the look he got late there.
Well, think about it. Last night, he took a jump shot, and everybody goes, "You got to drive." So tonight, He puts the ball on the floor, and I thought there was some contact. I thought he did a great job. He got in, he retreated, backed up a little bit. The help defender went away, and he came back in and attacked, and he went up strong. Unfortunately, couldn't get the bounce. Almost got the tip, but I have no issue with it. I just feel bad for Pascal Siakam. I mean, he needs one of these to go down. My biggest fear, and I said it during the game, my biggest fear after missing the shot last night, with all the struggles he's had, how would that affect him? And I was so impressed to see him bounce back and get a triple-double and then not be afraid to take the game winner again. But how many times can you not get it to go down before it does shake you up? But I give credit to him. There's a lot of players that don't want that shot, and he's not afraid to take it.
Yeah, Jack, you could see at the end of this one, there was a shot of Pascal walking off, and he's pretty good with his emotions right after a game, but he let out a pretty good scream there after that. He wanted that one.
Well, he sure did. And, I thought he played a great game. I agree with Leo on that. I mean, he was just outstanding tonight. The first career triple-double. And I see him not only playing really well again, I see him improving as a player. Like, I'm seeing him now, his read of recognition in terms of as a passer, as a teammate in a 5-on-5 game. I see him growing and maturing as a player. So, yeah. I mean, the last two plays of the game on back-to-back nights, you're disappointed for him. But overwhelmingly, I really like what I'm seeing from him. Why did Joe Torre make the Hall of Fame as a manager? In the 8th inning, he'd walk out and put his right hand up and say, "Here's Mariano Rivera, go close the game." The Raptors, unfortunately, just aren't closing right now. I mean, that's the story in a nutshell, to Jonesy's point about, the stat about how they're closing games. But, I mean, they're in games, they're in a position to win, and it really comes down to situational basketball. And two things. Number one, I thought Carmelo Anthony was brilliant for the Blazers tonight, not only scoring, but just his energy and effort, how hard he played. And two, I thought the Raptor backcourt of Kyle Lowry and Fred VanVleet at times didn't really take the game into their hands as they usually do. I don't know if it was fatigue or what, but they had a few tough possessions.
Jonesy, I felt like with notwithstanding the last 6 minutes of the game, it was one of their more complete games from start to finish execution-wise. Would you not say that?
Yeah, I mean, let's face it, for 3.5, 3 2/3, they were the better team. They were aggressive. I mean, you look at the balance they had, 6 guys in double figures. They shared the ball. Their defense was good. They didn't build enough of a cushion. They a couple of key possessions coming down the fourth quarter, but I thought they deserved to win the game. I thought for the majority of the night, they were the better team. And you have to be encouraged by that. I mean, you look at this entire West Coast trip where they were 1-3. They could have easily been 3-1. They were right in that game with Phoenix. They get a slow start. They come back. They beat Sacramento. They get beat by a point on back-to-back nights. I mean, those are games that like I said, they were winning last year. And they may have to kind of rejig and just get one in their pocket to learn how to win them again, just to get back on the bike and understand how it feels. But, boy, you cannot complain Leo said it off mic. They're 2-8, but man, they're not playing like a 2-8 team, especially the last 4 or 5 games. They've been really good, but they've got to find a way to get in the left-hand column and feel better about some of the end results with the effort.
Yeah, a double-digit lead doesn't mean as much, obviously, right now with the way the NBA is and the three-point shot. But the Raptors have blown 6 double-digit leads in their 8 losses. So you're right, guys. This game could be this record could be completely flipped. Leo, I want to talk about Boucher now, and specifically his three-point shooting. You mentioned in the broadcast the timing of his shots were just on point tonight. Obviously, he made 5 of them, but it's not just his timing that I'm seeing. I'm seeing a better release, a quicker release, and it's allowing him to get off shots he probably wouldn't have been able to get off in previous seasons.
Well, the coaching staff has worked on him with speeding up his release. Be ready to shoot, get rid of the ball quicker, and that gives you more. It gives you more time to shoot. Believe it or not, if you're speeding up your mechanics, and he's done a great job of that. And he doesn't have the traditional form, but it's like you see. There's been a lot of great shooters in the NBA that don't have a traditional form. But what do? The same thing every time. And Chris Boucher does the same thing every time. He's got his shot. And I think what's impressing me, and he's talked about this, shot selection, knowing when to shoot. You can't just come in and just jack it up. And he's not afraid to shoot. He's a very confident shooter. And he's now taking better shots. And he made some big shots, some clutch shots in this game, which tells you this kid's just growing by leaps and bounds right in front of us. And what's really impressive is go back, and we talked about this, go back to his Oregon Duck days. And this guy was a big man, a shot blocker. No one was talking about him coming into this league and knocking down 3-point shots like this. So he's really expanded his game, since college, and it's great to watch.
I just like to tag something that Leo said about Boucher because, talk about the selection of shots. I think he's bought in too. He's bought into how Nick Nurse has scripted his role. And so he doesn't take a lot of bad shots now because he trusts that he's going to get his run. He's going to get his time and touches. And you know what I'm starting to see that from too is Stanley Johnson.
Yep.
I like what I'm seeing from Stanley Johnson. A lot of times when you're a high pick, you come in thinking you're all this and you're all that. And now the league has humbled him a little bit. I thought last year he was stubborn and tried to do too much the little time he got. This year he's been a little more humble, and he coming in and being a defensive first guy. And I tell you what, he's carving out a little bit of a role now. And kind of what we saw a year ago from Boucher, where some nights he would buy in, some nights he would say, I'm going to force my game a little bit, and he'd get in the doghouse. I'm starting to see Johnson grow as a player. So, again, in spite of the fact that they lost tonight, I'm starting to see Nick Nurse getting a feel for what he likes and what he doesn't like and who he can trust and who he doesn't trust, and starting to get a feel for kind of this is how we have to play to be good.
Jonesy, with regards to OG, obviously consistency is what makes a good player great. And he was great tonight, especially in that second half. But, consistency has been his Achilles heel so far this season. How does he get more consistent?
Well, I think he's doing a better job. Consistency, I think, will come with some of the new things he's trying to do. Nick Nurse talked about trying to get him out of the corner and just being a standstill catch and shoot player. That's what he does well, and we saw that tonight. Spacing the floor, guys would get a paint touch, and OG was there to catch and shoot. Now, as for handling the ball and creating more offense, that can come with all the other parts of his game. We saw him, cutting and moving. We see him rebounding. He's a good defender. So I just think he's got to continue to do what he's doing. And, people can't expect him to – he's not the kind of overt player that's going to be handling the ball and making all these, fancy moves. That's not his game. He's very kind of stay in your lane, do your job type. But if he's out there with the right people and playing the right way, you're going to see games like he played tonight where he's getting his shots. He's getting them off other people. He's doing a good job on rebounding. He's good in his individual defense. So I think he's going to get more consistent. I like what he's doing now, and I just don't think people can force him or try to expect him to do things that he's not used to doing. That's when you really get in trouble, when guys start to step out of their roles and lose their personalities.
Leo, what do you do now going home? You got a couple of days off. How do you sort of regroup for the next one?
Well, I don't know if regroup is what you need to do. What's impressed me is these guys seem to be together. They're not hanging their heads. They know they're close. They're getting a little frustrated, obviously. Anybody would. But they're also getting ticked off, and that's a good thing. And I see them. Nobody's looking cross-eyed at one another. No one's pointing fingers. None of that is happening. Nick Nurse has said the locker room is still good. So I don't think it's a question of regrouping. It's like you're showing a lot of positive. You're doing a lot of good. Just emphasize the good. Work on some of the things you got to clean up. Stay positive and know that this can turn like that, right? So it's just a question of hanging in there right now. You're on the right path. You just got to get a couple of good bounces now.
Two things.
Jack, real quick. Go ahead.
Two things you said.
We got 20 seconds.
You said to Leo, what would you do? Obviously, if Leo was flying to Tampa, he'd lay at the pool on that off day, right?
Of course.
And secondly, hey, this is a game of habits. And I think the Raptors are cutting down on bad plays and having more good plays. Keep doing that, and they need a win, man. They need a win against Charlotte on Thursday. Got to get a win.
Thanks, guys. See you next time. Leo, you are looking a little bit pale.
Twine and wine. Got to twine and wine.
Thanks for watching. You can click to watch our last episode or to subscribe to the Toronto Raptors YouTube channel so you don't miss an episode.